The views expressed in this episode may be distressing and controversial for some audiences. The opinions expressed are not held by Why Believe or its associates. Listener discretion is advised. Who's programming who?
Well played, dark energies. Well played. I stay in the light.
Were you putting a spell on me?
I call it a new level.
Is what you're describing the Illuminati?
Yes.
Animal sacrifices and demonic magic so that they can get famous.
Multiple people in the room started convulsing. They were shaking.
That I felt something on the back of my neck where it would tickle.
I was casting a spell.
You've tuned in to Why Believe, the world's most controversial podcast on religion and belief, with TikToker and researcher CAEL O'Donnell.
Hello guys and welcome to the show today. My name is CAEL and I'm here with Uni, who's in Hawaii. How are you, Uni?
I am so well. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. Now, I have found Uni on TikTok because I was scrolling through TikTok and I found his videos about spirituality, and he's got some things on sound frequencies and how they impact people in some way. And so I was really curious about what he believed. So I wanted to definitely get him on the show today to unpack all of the things that he believes. So Uni, I suppose we'll throw it over to you straight away so we can get it, everybody an understanding of who you are.
Yes. My name is Uni Agape. Originally, I put myself on TikTok to connect with youth, mainly as the audience, and creating a grand awakening of love within us and remembrance of the magic that we are and that we all offer in every moment. And yeah.
And you've got a great following now. Your TikTok sort of just grew and took off. Was that because some of your videos went like viral?
Yeah, I had one video, I think it's at almost 4 million views right now.
Yeah. Wow. And what was the feedback that people were getting? And maybe you could tell the audience, what was the video? What was happening in that video?
Yes, so my intention with those videos was to play certain instruments which are aligned to different chakras or different energy centers or different emotional or intuitive abilities. And I was utilizing my instruments and the sound frequencies to catalyze certain feelings for the viewers, and to promote an awareness of how to feel energy quantumly and how to receive this frequency through a screen on the phone. And so the video was me playing a flute in the key of B, which is the crown chakra. And I had everybody, the caption was listen until you feel a pop on the top of your head. So that was the caption. And then I asked in the bottom, what do you feel from it? And so people were feeling all this crown chakra energy opening up, saying all these kinds of things about, I feel it, I don't feel it. Is this placebo? Is this not? What am I experiencing? I'm feeling so much. And so I think it just created a domino effect in that way.
Wow. And I definitely want to dive deep into that in a moment, because I think that I had an experience with one of your sounds and I wanted to share it with you. So I wanted to know, what is your spirituality? Where did you begin? How did you even know about spirituality?
Right. So I began with frequencies. That was a big catalyst of my awakening. I was on YouTube at 14 and 15, and I was looking into lucid dreaming and astral projection and third eye meditations. And then I found binaural frequencies, which is when two frequencies are played in each ear and they entrain your brain to a certain wave state like alpha, beta, theta, delta, or gamma. So that creates a whole physical part of connectivity, and that's what really catalyzed my awakening. So now I identify as a light worker, and I serve the Most High, divine light and love, and I mostly focus on energy and vibration as my modality to connect with spirit or spirituality. And I connect with many different energies, archetypes, and different beings. We call it channeling.
So your name's very unique, and I was wondering if that's your real name. Were you born with that name, Uni Agape?
I was gifted that name from spirit um, in a ceremony, a frog ceremony. If you're familiar with the medicine combo, I was gifted that name, and it was chanted over and over again, Uni, 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 Uni. And for a week, I was like, what is the meaning of this? And I asked my spirit, asked my guides, what do I do with this name? Is it something? Is it something for me to write, or what do I do with this? And my guides told me, this is your new name. This is your name to be called by. This is your ascension name, so to speak. And so then I added agape because I wanted it to be more than uni. Uni in Latin means one, and so I found agape as this most high form of love, for the love of humans for the creator, and the love of creator for humans. So it's this symbiotic relationship of love and universal love. So I fused them together. And now when you spell uni out, it's spelled UNI. So you and I are love, and it is one. So one love as you and I.
Wow. So there is so much to do with your name that is, it's just your whole movement has just been captivated and captured sort of in your name itself. So I'm glad I was able to ask that. Now, what is your
Yeah.
movement? How do you define it for people who've never heard about you?
Yes. So my movement is to create an awakening within us all, bringing about a golden age, if you've heard of that, on Earth exteriorly as also within us. So this is part of like accelerating the ascension process. So that's part of me bringing about and catalyzing people's awakening within themselves of their true magic abilities. Like I always say, galactivating. This is the action of remembering our cosmic self and bringing the heavens into earth. So bringing this cosmic energy into earth, and being able to influence influencers in a healthy way.
Okay. So is this movement found in any books? Did you read any books about this?
I've read so many different books. It's more of a coagulation of that which inspires me most. So my main mission has been remembering love within myself. And so as I have found this way to advance myself, I know that I can offer that in a digestible way for the youth, which is really important for me, to help our youth come into a state without programming, which a lot of us have been programmed through media and through family and through our outside experience. So I wish to help them while they're young to really start off on the right foot, so to speak.
Wow. Okay. So do you believe in a supernatural God?
Yes, I believe in a mother arc of creation, because I feel as if creation is a feminine type of energy. But even at that highest level, I do not see things in duality like a male or a female. It is just this spark of creation, more so like a central frequency of creation, and that is the most high love.
Okay. So how do you connect to your spirit guides?
Oh my goodness, there's infinite ways. I utilize different ways of divination, through either physical ways like cards, or tuning into tuning in with crystals. But my favorite way is to remember that the magic is truly within us. So I I utilize an inner dialogue within myself. So I expand my third eye, and I utilize an inner dialogue to where I can tell what's my voice and I can tell what is their voice,
Mm. So why do they want to help you?
because I asked. I said I'm ready.
Okay. And so they have a mission to help you and other people as well?
Oh yes, all of us. That's the mission. And it depends on who you're communicating with, because some have an agenda. As you know, many people talk about the grays or the reptilians or the draconians, or there's beings in this universe that are that have an agenda of malevolence, so to speak, you know. And that's what it is, you know. We live in this kind of duality state within the third dimension, and so there's just different levels of working with them. Some are holy and healed and have good intentions, and some want to have like a negative vampiric kind of energy, you know, uh, like the grays.
Hmm. So when you talk about malevolent powers and malevolent agendas, in the Christian sense, they would probably call them demons. Do you believe in that?
Oh yes, completely, completely.
Okay. Why are they choose? Do they choose to be malevolent?
My belief is that they're all looking for forgiveness or love or acceptance or whatever it is. It's kind of like the bully on the schoolyard. You know, it's not that they're bad and they're going to be bad forever. They're just looking for the same thing. It's the same kind of energy that is wishing to transform. It's this the bully energy that just wants healing as well.
So coming back to the galactic uh, stuff, what does that mean? I don't even know what galactic powers or whatever that means.
Exactly. So there is like our birth given magic, um, and embodying angelic energies, so to speak, is what the galactivation is. You are remembering your cosmic self and pulling in these answers and these intuitive abilities from a heavenly state, from a light state, not dense energy, because dense energy can be stuck and mucky, but this light energy really allows us to um, bring about our superpowers and normalize it so that we know that it's in our everyday life and every moment, truly, in every word we speak.
So, what do you mean when you say like the cosmic self? How do we know where it is?
Well, we can think of it as, if I'm looking at you, I see a blueprint. I see your family, I see your job, maybe, I see your emotions, I see your past experiences. That would be what I call a blueprint. And now the cosmic self, the ascended self, the higher self, the true self, the soul self is the gold print. It is this energy that is our what I call a city, or our highest exalted form, the form of our being that comes into full embody into our full majesty, our magic and our galactivation, so to speak.
Mhm. And so, how do you achieve that? I know you have a course in galactivation. So, what is the first step, and how do you achieve that?
Well, there's different practices that I offer. For each individual, it's different. Some people may want to learn about how to communicate with plants. I can help you with interspecies communication, plants or animals. Or some people want to communicate with um, past lives or deities or angels. Or some people want to learn about how to do rituals and magic. So it depends on each person, because everybody has a different puzzle piece to this full picture. So it's not like we all need to know how to communicate with angels, you know. So it's different for every person.
Hmm. And so, what is the light language that you teach?
Yes, so the light language is the language of the soul. It can it can turn off your frontal lobe when you start to speak this language, and allows you to communicate from a channeled state. In Christianity, or in the Bible, they would call it speaking in tongues, because you are not speaking anymore. It is this energy that is coming through you and vocalizing. Some people even see energy coming out of their mouth when they speak this language. And some people know where this language is coming from, like different stars, or it'll be, the Pleiadians or the Syrians or the Arcturians. It is a language that is channeled and intuitive.
Hmm. I was in Christianity myself, and I've spoken tongues. And when I look at the way that I was speaking in tongues, and the people that I was around, I looked at their tongues, and they were very much like the way that I was speaking. So would you describe it as something that's learnt as well? Could it just be like gibberish that you learn and can speak, or is there a real power behind it? Because from my experience, it felt as if I was learning it, and I just spoke what I heard, and just made the sounds that I heard.
Oh yeah, there is immense power behind it. I have spoken light language on top of somebody's head, and they've immediately started convulsing and releasing en- energies. And here's a cool story. For instance, last night it was a young girl's birthday, and she was singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star," and she was kind of a little bit nervous about singing it, maybe not getting all the word structures right. And I said, "Hey, why don't you try light language?" And I was like, "Have you ever spoken it?" And she hadn't ever spoken it. And so she started making these sounds, and these sounds carried the energy through, and it allowed her to embody this deeper state of presence, and this less logical mind, and more feeling, more creation. And so it's a vocal empowerment in its essence, and it is full on magic, because you are spellcasting. With every word, you are creating an energy and a vibration. So with your intention, that's what really carries the magic with it. And it can be utilized as a way to express yourself in a new way that feels easy, that feels familiar, that feels comfortable.
So what's the craziest thing that's happened when you've been speaking the light language?
Yeah, probably that experience when I was I was at Esalen in California, with Charles Eisenstein, and I was speaking this light language, and multiple people in the room started convulsing. They were shaking, and they were like drooling and crying, and that that's when I really knew, like, this is a transformative modality, utilizing the voice in a way that is beyond any language on this planet that people communicate with. It just allows them to fully receive without thinking about what they're hearing.
And I suppose when I was in Christianity, it was called the Holy Spirit. And people were having the exact same encounters or experiences that you're describing: the convulsing on the floor, the frothing at the mouth, the benign behavior of just, acting out there and speaking in tongues. It sounds as if this is a universal experience, and that it can't just be flagged by just one religion, obviously.
Yes, of course. I believe it is completely universal. As I said, many people are channeling different light languages from star clusters. So I believe it is a modality that is utilized in all forms of life. This language of the soul, this language of light comes through, even if they have a normal dialect for their planet, or their community, in whatever way. I believe that it is a modality that is universal.
Hmm. So have you ever thought that it's just people being whipped into a frenzy with music happening, and then the language is happening, and then people just stir themselves up?
Yes, ultimately, uh, I am guiding people to water. We are guiding people to water, but we're not making them drink it. They're the ones that are choosing to drink the water. So ultimately, I teach that we are the creator, we are the writer, we are the actor, we are the director, we're the producer of our reality, of our life. And it's like a movie. So yes, people are creating this energy and allowing it to move them. Some people have such strong resistance that they'll be like, I don't feel anything. I'm not feeling anything. And it just requires them to accept and surrender to love, or to the space, to whatever is in the space.
And you mentioned before, when you're speaking this love language, it shuts off the logical part of the brain. When is it ever
Hmm.
good to shut off the logical part of the brain? How do we get around that?
Well, if we're over analytical, at what I call like the masculine mind, a lot of times we're thinking so much about how this worked and why this happened, and what is the cause of that, and when do I do this? It actually limits us from the eternal possibilities, because that's too rigidly structuring our thought process. So it's good to create structure in a logical way, to kind of create a container of awareness, and then to utilize the feminine energies to float within that container of awareness, and to allow ourselves to expand limitlessly.
So people have a mixture. I've never heard of that before. People have a mixture of feminine energies and masculine energies in the brain, and that they can choose to have a thought pattern or a thought space that they think in. How would one begin to think more femininely?
To surrender and embody a flow state, to relish in the beauty that is happening. I like to relate it like the masculine mind is a cauldron, and the feminine is this fire that's just dancing all around. And so you can relate that to the mind. It's like, have your masculine cauldron, and then allow the feminine thought patterns to float and dance, and it can look however it looks for you.
So would you say that a stubborn atheist that doesn't believe in any supernatural things is the masculine kind of unmovable rock that needs to be broken kind of thing, and that feminine energies are the spiritual people that float around and believe these things, but it changes people as well, and how they react to their life? Would you say that atheists are the masculine brains that need more femininity in them?
Not necessarily, but attributing to the stubborn part, yes, generally that could be attributed to like a masculine form of like, I have to think one way very rigidly, kind of in a box, or very linear, which it's okay to think in that way, but to be open to receive can be more of a feminine energy. And I still wouldn't relate it to like spiritual people are like this and atheist people are like this. I would say that is outside of just the mentality and the conscious perception and the consciousness of all beings, no matter if you're atheist or you're spiritual in any way, it doesn't matter. I think that this divine feminine, divine masculine um, ways of thinking and feeling are embodied within every single life form.
Mm, right. And so now you mentioned that there are programming, and that would be
Mhm.
something to do with the brain. It would be something to do with the mind. Who's programming who?
Well, it comes from all angles there. It can come from the environment that we have, the nature around us, the sounds that we hear on media, what we're watching on TV, from our family, from our ancestors, our genetic lineage, from our friends at school, from our teachers, from the textbooks we read. This is what I consider a programming, and it's not just affecting us on a mental level. It is mind, body, and spirit, all in conjunction.
So could you let me know how the media is programming people?
No matter what the story is, it all comes back to the feeling. So if there's something that we're watching on news that is portraying and trying to affect us on a fearsome level, well, that's, that's a program that's probably not preferred in my perspective. And then if you're maybe listening to a song that's talking about, something degrading towards women or something in that aspect, maybe that wouldn't be a preferred programming as well. There's also very great programming like our discussion here.
Mm. Now, I want to come to the agendas because this is kind of what I want to unpack and see where your beliefs go. You mentioned that some of these malevolent beings have agendas. Is there agendas in the human species that are secret that we don't know?
Yes, of course there is. And I wouldn't even say that it's necessarily secret because everything is coming to light. This we just discussing this, just even having the awareness that there may be a possibility of people hosting something in a secret way that is malevolent, that is catalyzing an awakening. So as this reaches the people that are listening, that is causing questioning. As I questioned and I questioned on YouTube, looking up all these different things on YouTube about why these people are doing this and what's going on here and what's happening over there. This questioning brings about awakening. And as we share it with people, it really doesn't matter what they're doing. It matters what solution we can make.
Is what you're describing the Illuminati?
You could call it that if you want.
Okay.
I like to call it the dense energies that be, because I see us from an eagle-eyes perspective on the entire planet and on a universal scale. So no matter if it's the Illuminati or any dense energies or malevolent beings on this planet, it doesn't matter to me because it's all a form of the same archetype. It's all a form of the same energy that is coming to light. So that's why we consider it like Star Wars, like the light side and the dark side, right? So it doesn't need to be communicated, or at least I choose not to communicate on a level that's that intense and going into the politics of things as I did when I was younger. I just realized, am I complaining about a problem or am I creating a solution?
Wow. So this Illuminati, is this something that is coming to light because it's going to bring about a change in the universe, a positive change? Is that why it's coming to light so you can bring about solutions? Is that why it's coming about now?
Exactly, because most of their agenda is for fear, right? To have fear be the catalyst of what they can feed on to, and this is in any of the malevolent agendas on this planet and within the universe. It's this fear, how to feed off of people in a feared state. So as we recognize it, I say, well played, dark energies, well played. I stay in the light, and so that's what allows us to really hold the space for others to come and join. So that's why I hold this space, and beings come to me, and I open my hands, I open my arms, I say, hey, let's walk together hand in hand. Let's do this. And that's why I talk about the golden age in that way.
So I'm wondering, I got to the dark side of YouTube one time and I found a video that said that there are this malevolent group of people, celebrities, and this kind of Illuminati group that do animal sacrifices and demonic magic so that they can get famous. Is this something that you would say is true as a spiritual person?
You can believe anything. In that aspect, I would relate it even to people sacrificing animals in their backyard to eat them. There's no difference in trying to achieve something with a malevolent intention. If you are trying to achieve anything and your form of magic or your form of ritual is to is more on a death pattern than a pro-life pattern, well, it's going to cause a ripple effect. And no matter what, it always returns to love. So these people, these beings who are sacrificing in any way, even if somebody's cutting the head off the chicken in their backyard, like it is still creating, in my opinion, a domino effect that will return back to love, and like these beings will need to wash that blood off of themselves, and when that blood is washed off, I will be here to rinse them, with the water to wash that blood off.
Wow. There's so much forgiveness that embodies you, and that there's this embrace and acceptance that I sense from you. Is this something that you've channeled for so many years, that there is this ancient force out there that wants to return back to loving everything?
Within the spiritual communities, I like to call it a fluff. So there's this ability to access this state of universal love and embody it, and there's a fierceness that needs to be had within that aspect, so that we can look these demonic forces, so to speak, in the eyes and know that we embody the Christ consciousness, and we look these demonic forces in the eyes. We ask them, what do you need? What do you need to be healed? And that's with a fierce heart. That's with a sword of light and a shield of mirrors. And when we look them and we look at them and we say, what do you need? How can we help you? And then we ask them to be our allies on the light side.
So you're saying that there is a kind of mission that you have, is to sway demons to become healed and come to the light.
Yes.
Okay, that's such an interesting mission. Now I want to come to a new place now, to the frequencies again, because I want to know how frequencies are being used to achieve certain outcomes. And I want to start by sharing my experience. When I came across your TikTok or your video, there was something different about it. I'd never experienced that before. And even as a person that I don't practice spirituality, I don't do even meditation or anything, but there was something about the music and this sense about it that I felt something on the back of my neck start to creep, and I didn't know what it was. Could you tell me what was on the back of my neck?
Yes. So my intuition says that there's energy within your specific experience that was trickling through your spinal column, which is a grand energy center for us. There's so much fluid and energy that comes through our spine, and especially if we maybe have something that needs a little fine adjustment or some tuning, we'll get tingling sensations, or maybe it's just calling us to put attention into that space and either heal it or activate it. So in the spine, specifically behind the neck, you could say, because you're such a vocal communicator, maybe it was healing how you receive communication, because in front of us is how we offer, and behind us is how we receive. And that's a teaching in Taoist teachings. So specifically for you in that experience, I would think about how you're receiving other people's communication and vocalizing it through. Just my intuition.
Okay. That's an interesting interpretation, because when I looked into that song, because I went into the song that you have, and this only happened when I was in deep worship, when I was a Christian, and I was really intentional and I was fasting, and I got into this really spiritual state, and I had this experience at the back of my neck where it would tickle, and it would have this sort of sensation. I'd never experienced that again outside of Christianity until I came across your stuff. So it's interesting. I once interpreted it as the Holy Spirit, as God interacting with me, but then when experiencing yours, it had the same experience. And I contacted some friends and even some spiritual people that studied science as well, and some would say that it is the limbic system or the amygdala in the brain that's picking up certain sounds of music that's going to trigger a response in you. But you would say that that is a natural way to measure it and to interpret it, but a deeper meaning exists into why it's there.
Yes, a deeper and a boundless expansion from that awareness, because no matter what, and as I teach, this is our own interpretation of magic. So how we interpret it is the most important. We can hear anything from anyone, but it's always our true instinct that actually creates what it is.
So were you putting a spell on me?
I was spelling, I was casting a spell into the field. And so it's not out of your control. It's not out of anybody's control, so to speak. We truly don't have any control, in my opinion, but it's up to everybody to receive it or not. And some people kind of put, are you putting a spell on me, in a negative connotation? I say, I am offering and suggesting an awakening within you, and I am delivering it through a modality of love.
So you were possibly putting a love spell on me to change, to bring me to a new level.
You could say that, yeah.
So
I
now,
call it a new level.
a new level. Okay. So, Uni, I'm just curious to know, at one point you're going to die. Where do you think you're going to go?
I like the idea of croaking or returning to that central frequency of creation, as I spoke of earlier. And we will return the same way we came in.
So you believe that we will be rebirthed again and again?
Yes, and to add to that, I believe that we host a connectivity to the collective consciousness, which isn't necessarily just for this planet. It is a universal collective consciousness. So we access this collective consciousness, a return to the soul soup, I like to call it, and then we begin dished out again, as our soul path guides us.
Wow. So now I've just had a thought. I know there's lots of forgiveness and love and things that emanate from you. I wanted to know, on the topic of where people go when they die and the repercussions perhaps of what they lived in their life, how do you address terrorists and people that do terrible things in this world? Is there part of the universe that needs to work on that spirit or soul or whatever it is that you believe in? Or is it just forgotten that the pain that people have gone through, the trauma people have experienced because of the hand of a human being, is that just, it's just left unsolved?
Well, not to take away from the seriousness of that comment, but I'd like to relate it back to the bully on the schoolyard. We all host this inner child awareness of either a bully on the field or the schoolyard. So we know that we're relating on that level, on that relationship style. So it, like I said, it all returns to love, and that's what catalyzes their awakening. That's what catalyzes maybe millions of people to realize, this is not what I prefer in life. This is not what I prefer on this planet. I prefer a golden community, or super loving relationships, or I love life so much. So it all has its place, and I am indifferent in thinking like, oh, those people deserve this, or these good people deserve this, because that is still creating a form of separation. Like, all life deserves love. All life deserves acceptance and peace and joy and prosperity.
Wow. So it surpasses, and it's as if it's a love that can't be defined in the human realm. And so, Uni, I suppose I want to take some time now to talk about where you're hoping to go with this movement. You come across as someone who's quite young. Where are you hoping to take this? There are different ways that people take their spiritual path. Would you ever think of ever becoming a cult leader, or where would you take your spirituality?
My intention is to normalize magic, to normalize spirituality, to normalize multidimensionality. And in a way that feels in alignment for me is to offer as a community based modality, to where me and many other superheroes or Jedis or other galactivated humanoids, you could say, get together and we provide our service, we provide our healing, we provide our art, we provide our intuition and our insight, or our hands in working with the land, or our workshops or our videos or our music, whatever it is, we come together as a community and offer that, and create a huge ripple effect to where we have kids offering their art, and people are loving it because it's healing, or however people wish to express themselves. I wish to bring about a community aspect to offer that, for the planet, and create a huge shift. And one way I think that we can do that is by shifting the perception of influencers and having them provide healing and healthy media and healthy content.
Hmm. So when you say that you are gathering a community, you're not thinking of gathering a cult together.
No, because I believe in synarchy, to where we're all the operators of our own universe. We're all the creators of our own reality. Um, there's no thought in me that thinks that we need to have one person in charge kind of idea. I think everybody is responsible for themselves, and that's going to really create this golden age community.
Would you say that your movement is similar to potentially an ancient movement, like the movement of Christ, where he was trying to bring about his movement? Would you say that your movement might be inspired by that, or?
Certainly, I believe that this movement is each individual's connection as Christ did. So as he had a way of bringing about awareness of his magic and his miracles, however it was, through, offering people loaves and fishes, to, healing the blind men, to, to these different ways. So each person's going to have their different modality. Maybe it's somebody painting a bunch of pictures and just putting them all over San Francisco of healing frequencies, or whatever it is, like, we are all embodying this archetype of the Christ.
Uni, how fast does this show go? We're already at the end. It just happened so fast, and I've really enjoyed all of this. You've survived my questions that are just so grating on people, but you've done a really great job, and I really thank you for being in the podcast today. I want to give you some time now to just share your movement and some of the things that you're doing in terms of how people can access you, your music, your course, and your social media.
Yes, thank you so much. So as I said before, I'm doing readings and healings and trainings, and all of that is accessible on my website, which is uniagape.com, uniagape.com. And I have multiple levels of that. That's more so my personal thing. And with the team that I have, my basic friend circle, I'm creating healing music in different genres, mostly focusing on conscious hip hop, EDM, and then my flute style, sound bath, meditative, Zen, Reiki kind of music. And yeah, there's a free download for a healing music 432 on my website, and it's a chakra cleansing and activating song. And then at large, I'm creating this collective, like I said, of superpowered, masterful beings to provide our modalities and our services, for and our teachings for the whole planet. So at this moment, I'm welcoming new practitioners from all over the world, and any beings that wish to share their magic, and I'm fully open to this collective, because my intention is for it to be a huge world shift.
And you have a big mission ahead of you, but it's great that you've been able to make a start. And I'm going to be looking out for your music, hopefully finding it on Spotify soon one day, just to play out of curiosity to see if I can stir up some spirituality in me and feel the tingles again.
Oh yes, more to come. So much more to come.
Guys, I want to thank you for joining Uni and I today on the podcast, and I hope that you have a great day.
Thank you for tuning in today.
Go into the draw to win $200. Leave a rating and review of this episode of Why Believe on Apple Podcasts today. Follow us on Instagram at Why Believe Podcast for the latest shows, upcoming guests, and exclusive content.